Mandalore Gaming, everybody. Welcome to Solo React Talk. Today I'm going to be reacting to Thief 2, The Metal Age. This is in connection with Thief the Dark Project review. If you want to check that out, remember the playlist card will be at the top. Just click on it and you'll be able to access it. In the first one, the first game, Thief, you were dealing with Garrett, it was Garrett. He's a master thief. He was hired by a demon lord, if I can say that, or I think it was a demon lord, if I'm not mistaken, to steal a very important artifact. Little did Garrett know that this artifact was supposed to help the person called Woodsy Lord, or Constantine. That's his human name, and his godly name is Woodsy Lord, to attain power so that he can destroy, humanity and bring back the darkness and have humanity pray to him and venerate him as a god and love him as a god. So Garrett did a mistake by helping out this associate who hired him, and he lost his own eye. I'm not sure if he's dead or is he still alive. I'm not entirely sure about that, but I guess we'll find out in Thief 2. Let's start. 3, 2, 1, go.
Oh, looks like Wells Fargo really stepped up security. I'll try another door. Well, things have changed. Thief 2 The Metal Age came out not even a year and a half after Thief 1. This kind of sequel was not uncommon in the era. If the first game was solid enough, just build onto it. So with that in mind, I'm going to assume you saw my Thief 1 video. The Dark Project has a tutorial and The Metal Age does not, so I also don't want to be repeating myself. For now, I'll say that as good as Thief 1 was, 2 does some things even better. So let's get started. Sadly, the Steam version of Thief 2 is just as bad as Thief 1's. It's better on GOG, you know what New Dark is. However, at the time of this video, I believe their build is based off of Taffer Patcher. It's better than vanilla, but also outdated now. So instead of using T-Fix Lite, I'll be using T2 Fix Lite. Getting the sound is the same deal as before, so no big changes here. The one thing it does alter is actually immediate. It's the first screen you see when you're playing the game. There's a fence you can't climb, but a good friend unlocked a side door for you. But now...
Are we still playing with Garrett, or is this someone else now?
It doesn't matter too much, it's still a pretty bad way in. And he never did say that you couldn't jump the fence, just that his way was better.
It's the only good way in.
So it doesn't break canon, it's still good for Wikipedia or whatever the Thief Wiki is called. It probably doesn't matter. Okay, now I can pull up the new intro.
Oh, it's in color now.
It's another cool, dark, and stylish opening, but it conveys a lot to you as well. There's a new builder scripture and it looks like technology is being pushed massively forward. There are some dramatic changes happening in the city, but Garrett, he's still doing his thing. The story takes place roughly a year after the events of the first game. This time only the first mission is really standalone and the story kicks off in the second. Your first job is to help your old friend Basso, who you might remember being unconscious in Thief 1, and once again he needs you to do all the work and help him elope. Not too much going on over there, so I'll say a bit more about what's happening in the world. The city only had bits and pieces of technology before, but things have come a long way. Electricity is much more available now, so the whole city is undergoing a kind of industrial revolution. The poor can have a garage door now, and the rich are becoming unfathomably fancy. It's surreal to see an office layout that looks pretty modern. For all I know, they might already have Twitch streamers. You would think the Hammers would be behind this, but not exactly. They've gone through a religious schism. Not the we're gonna kill each other nonstop for 2,000 years kind. More the I don't want to play with you anymore kind. The Hammers are now completely outclassed by the Mechanist Order. The Old Guard were already pretty fanatic, but these guys are something else. The revolution is all thanks to them, and their technology is spread into crime stopping. Combined with the City Watch crackdown, crime is almost completely eliminated.
For a price.
It is becoming a horrible surveillance state dystopia, and you don't want that. You never want that. There are tons of cameras, swarms of robots, traps, which all sounds bad, but Garrett has a new innate power. His brand new mechanical eye. Can he see through walls or tag enemies? No. You can now zoom in on stuff.
Not this time.
That's all you need.
It's still good. It's still good. It's still far better than any normal human eye. So yeah. You go, Garrett. You go.
To make matters even worse, it seems that all plant life is dying out, so the Metal Age is looking to be apocalyptic. Things are strange once again, but you should have expected that. I mean, Thief 2 also came in a trapezoid, but I didn't have that one since I had that shape covered already. I never keep it too far away from the game sphere. Graphically, Thief 2 looks a lot like Thief 1, but there have been some key improvements. For one, the character models are significantly more detailed now, but they could still add in more characters per map. The new levels can sometimes be insanely ambitious in size, as
I think they still die the same way, you know. Once you've hit your opponent, and then, you know, they go like, yeah, I think they still die like that.
and this one could be 2 different missions big, but they went there. They've really mastered their use of lighting and shadow too, since they've now had years to work on the Dark Engine. After all, Thief 1 wasn't initially going to be a stealth game, where the sequel knew exactly what it was going to be. The environments are so rich and detailed, and there's a good variety of settings you actually play in. What happened was this time around they designed all the maps first, and then later made the story to accommodate them, which is why you can go from spooky cyber church to pirate ship adventure. The word that keeps coming to mind is refinement. They know it works visually, and they were really pushing what they can do. No longer is a Chaos Realm just inside of a tunnel. I'm not saying that every mission plays better, but visually you don't get puked on like the Thieves Guild ever again. As for the sound, it's as atmospheric as ever.
At least I don't hear anyone farting anymore, so I guess that's good.
The music is again tied with the ambience. There's nothing quite so burned into my brain like Victoria's theme, but there's good stuff here. It's become more pronounced and creepy. My favorite has to be the Nightmare Siren. Once again, they can play to their strength because they actually know what they're making this time. It really hammers the don't get caught feeling into you. On the voice acting side, Stephen Russell is killing it once again. He's playing both Garrett and the main villain this time. When I first played the game, I had no clue. As for the regular NPCs, once again they bounce around a bit. It ranges from who do we have in the office to this guy's performing his heart out.
It's as if all the plant life in the city up and died. Have you noticed that all the trees in Eastport are wilted and dead?
How come we gotta pull guard duty? Couldn't the mechanist just put more of those mechanical eyes around the place?
Because we can't be shut off as easily, you taffert.
Oh!
You gotta prick us with your sewing needles? On this side of the street, we shoot like soldiers, so don't make promises your arrows can't keep.
You gone too far this time, you camelman and tunic-wearing mollycoddle! An arrow in the throat that'll shut you up!
Overall, it's great presentation. It keeps the tone and look of the first game, adds a bunch of new stuff, but doesn't twist it too far. The gameplay is similar in that there are some changes. Unfortunately for speedrunners, bunny hopping is gone. Your jumping movement is slightly slower but more deliberate. Knocking out lights and masking your sound, that's all the same. What might change is how enemies react to it. The enemy AI is supposed to be smarter, and sometimes it is. They're more prone to noticing environmental changes like open doors. But at the same time I found it less predictable and not in a good way. In fact, a lot of the human AI seemed a lot dumber than Thief 1.
Thought I saw something. Just the wind, I guess.
I'm not saying Dark Project enemies were geniuses or anything, but it kept feeling like I was getting away with things that I really shouldn't have. Then sometimes the opposite would happen and a guard across the map would have ESP. I even experimented with this a bit to make sure I wasn't going crazy, and yeah. Here a guy is turned around 100 feet away and I set down Moss, but he bolts right at me. Both extremes were in a constant case, but it was definitely noticeable. This could all just be a weird, subjective thing that happened to me. I don't know. They mostly do just fine. As for the player, you do have some new tools besides the eye. Flares finally give you a cheap, expendable way to have some better light on you. Slowfall potions let you make sick jumps without sending your kneecaps across the street. Invisibility potions sound game-breaking, but they're rare and expensive. More of a get-out-of-jail-free card. There's some other stuff. Oh, the tactical frog grenade. But all the old stuff still works fine.
Nay, not a single beast.
Good riddance, then. Noxious thing.
There are quality of life changes here and there, like showing where you've been on your map and saying when you found a secret, but the main appeal is all the new missions. Whether it's breaking into a police station, or a bank heist, or escaping a city, it's all about stealth. There are no curveball adventure or combat maps, sneaking is the name of the game. The strength in that is that you don't have the abrupt shift in a level's pacing because it's trying to be a different genre. The maze factor is pretty low this round and your maps are frequently filled out. There are some incredibly engaging missions in this, and they typically don't require as much hunting for petty loot. For example, in the bank heist mission you're there for evidence. The idea is that you want to be in and out because the place is swarming with security. But if you want to, you can still rob the place blind. There's an entire upper floor that you don't have to go to, but it's your freedom to try and do the Peter Panda dance to break into more stuff. It's fun because you're choosing to get more money for the next mission instead of being forced to. Life of the Party is the gigantic mission I mentioned earlier. In this one, you climb across the city's rooftops to try and break into a skyscraper. And you could beeline right for it, there's plenty of loot inside. I mean, good god, it's huge. This could easily be its own mission. Still, you shouldn't want to rush to it because the city is full of cool stuff. There are tons of side stories and Easter eggs and treasures. The exploration is so rewarding. My favorite is when you stumble upon a little greenhouse garden. There's a spider in there and they're always a problem. So naturally you go, haha, and then it dies. Then you read a journal and it's someone's beloved pet named Long Daddy. If you load a save from before that, yeah, he's harmless. So that made me feel like a dick the first time. There are so many great moments like that. Unfortunately, not every mission is a winner. The worst part is it's not like a Thief Gold issue where I just don't like the map. This time around it feels like padding. And it probably was. Thief 2 was a very rushed game, as in employees weren't bathing or sleeping for days on end rushed. They likely wanted to have the same number of missions that Thief Gold had, but they didn't have time for that. So here are some examples. Ambush is a map set in the city streets, and I don't like it that much. It's a good premise, a cool idea for a map, but they don't do much with it. It's not a grand caper across the streets or anything. That said, they bring the map back to have you do a trailing mission. It's not like Assassins where it's leading you to a cool place. This is nothing but following. You could take the last minute of this mission and put it in the next map and it would be a lot better. This whole thing could have been condensed into a cutscene and you wouldn't miss out. Later they straight up bring back the Lost City map from Thief, but now it's being excavated. The goal is finding and kidnapping someone, but it has some annoying mechanics attached to that. I wouldn't mind some Lost City Indiana Jones, but it's the same map from 1. In fact, in a change I didn't like, Gold Edition already added human enemies into that level, which makes the idea here feel even more we did this already. That still has nothing on this. Casing the Joint is a ghost and scouting mission. You go into a large mansion to hunt for secret passages and fill your map out. It's an intricate map and I do like it. The issue is you're preparing for your next mission, which is the exact same map. There's proper security now and treasures to steal that have unique challenges to them. It makes me wonder what the point of the previous map was. Ghosting it could have just been an expert difficulty option. It's not very tense because you've been all over the place by now and you know where the secret passages are. Also in the vanilla game there are unaligned objects and lights facing the wrong way. And these are the last 2 missions before the finale. It's disappointing. Despite all that, the rest is fantastic. Every single mission is geared for sneaking. So I would say that Thief 2 is a better stealth game than Thief 1, and for some people it's the ultimate stealth game. The experience is so much more focused. That said, I do miss the horror element since Thief 1 had a lot more of that. I would have liked another Bone Horde or Haunted Cathedral kind of adventuring map. The Metal Age doesn't have anything like that, and the real tragedy is that it was going to. Thief 2 Gold had started development. There were going to be several new missions, including a horror necromancer themed one, and some existing stuff would have been retooled as well. Sadly, the studio died before all that happened. Looking Glass really was a lot like Jesus. They weren't around long, but they pulled off some genuine miracles before being killed off way too soon. It just sucks, and it makes the game's shortcomings hurt even more. If only they had some more time. But most of what they did make plays great. As for the story, it still has the same great environmental storytelling. Like, the Mechanist faction still claims to revere the Builder, but then you go to their sites, and the Builder is in darkness. He's gone from revered to being in a storage unit. There are good, strong moments like that, but a lot more is told to you directly. There's a lot more intricacy to the plot this time, so it's understandable. They don't dump too much at you that you couldn't put together yourself. You're still expected to have a functioning frontal lobe. There isn't more reading because it's dumbed down. The story kicking off sooner means there's more events and characters to develop. I'm not going to go play by play or anything, but there is one character I want to focus on. So if you don't want spoilers, go to here.
I'm staying right here.
How can I not talk about Karis? Our Mechanist Messiah has so much going on. He's an amazingly well done villain. Karis is the founder of the new religion and a certified genius. He's responsible for inventing the cameras, robots, and other wonders. He's shaping an entire golden race to be in his image. His power and influence in the city is massive. He's been growing a god complex, and it's not too crazy with his resume. What's the personality of a mastermind inventor like that? Well, he's a massive dweeb. He's talented, but not portrayed as being suave. He's writing a new religious scripture, but parts of it are him complaining in his diary about the nobles making fun of him behind his back. They want favor to get to his inventions, and they don't really care what he has to say. Karis now hates organic life and wants it destroyed completely, and his whole plan starts by giving the nobles golden slaves that he's made. He's turned innocent people into these things. And unfortunately for the nobility, they're Trojan horses. Instead of having, like, some kind of shooting, he's filled them all with a corrosive gas. It reacts violently to organic matter. Most of the plants that are in the city are in the curated gardens of the nobles, so that'll amplify the effect. He genuinely thinks he's in the right to do this, too. He's so narcissistic that he's made all of his robots sound like him and calls them his children. Even his own followers can get creeped out by them.
Thou not the first to be afeard of them, for their visages wrought to strike terror into the enemies of Karas, or those who might consider becoming enemies.
Well, and it might, for it near strikes terror into mine own heart.
But he doesn't care what they think anyway. He already sees himself as above the Builder.
Who cares what the hell of the Builder? What the Builder wills, Karas does. What the Builder wants, Karas makes. Praise to Karas.
He's fun, but there's still an underlying tragedy to him. I always wondered what happened to him to make him hate life that much. He probably got made fun of for his voice. I can get that, I had to take speech classes as a kid. But statistically, I shouldn't have been born, so I'm not complaining. Maybe he was so smart he couldn't relate to anybody, or some combination of stuff. Whatever it is, he's a huge asshole now. Garrett ends up teaming up with Victoria to stop him. She's taken over from the Woodsy Lord since he got tricked to death. While the Hammers dislike pagans, the Mechanists are outright genocidal.
Wait, the Woodsy Lord got tricked to death by Victoria or by Garrett? I probably missed that in the first game. I'm not sure, but okay.
Towards them. An old enemy is a new ally once again. This adds on to the mythos of the series too. Last time the pagan ways were disabling things, but this time it's the builders. When it comes to nature versus civilization, you can't just wipe one out and let the other one go unchecked. Garrett has been keeping the balance whether he really wants to or not. The final mission is a trial of endurance. It's a large map and really feels like a test of your skills. What I hate is the beginning part where you have to do IKEA shit, which means gathering some parts up and assembling them into what you need. I hate doing this every single time, but then you have the real challenge. Jesus Christ, it's such a death maze. The keepers didn't prepare me for this. Oh, that's right. It's a satisfying ending, and it teases another game to come. That did happen, but it would be under a new studio. Some of the old guard would return, but it's a very different game compared to 2 and 1. Still, Thief 2 is an excellent game that's well worth your time. It's easy to see why people swear the sequel is the better game. Even with its focus tightened in and some vastly better levels, I still personally prefer Thief 1. To be honest, I'm not entirely sure why. There's something about its atmosphere and supernatural story that I guess I find more appealing, which is saying a lot because I like Thief 2's elements so much. Even if you don't like the base game much, it's worth it for the fan missions. I feel a similar way about Doom 1 and 2. The game will be 69 cents for the next few days as the whole trilogy is still on sale. Next time I'll finish up the trilogy. This will take me a little longer, I have some sneaky upgrading to do and... Wait, what's I've got to be careful. Next thing I know I'll be doing fan mission videos. Which ending do you prefer in Deus Ex? Oh, that's Helios, like, easily. The Illuminati plan doesn't make anything better, and Tong's logic is very flawed. A new Dark Age won't stop powerful people from just doing the same thing again eventually. Which Wasteland is better, Fallout 3 Capital or New Vegas Mojave? If you mean like site exploring, that definitely goes to Fallout 3 because it's Washington DC, compared to a desert that's like the one big thing Fallout 3 has over New Vegas. The setting of New Vegas has a hell of a lot more interesting things going on, so there it is. Excited about the upcoming Factorio expansion. Oh god, give me strength. Do you think Thief games could benefit from the RTX treatment? Yeah, I'm sure they could. As long as they didn't do what they did for Quake 2 RTX. The weapon and level and item reflections are cool, but they really changed the mood of some of the areas in it. If Thief 2 had whatever that was done to it, it would probably be pretty bad. Maybe New Blood or Night Dive will bite off of Square Enix one day, but I don't think so. We'll see.
Strange breaths of air.
Okay guys, that was Thief 2, The Metal Age. Yeah, I don't know what happened to the Woodsy Lord. I thought we were going to continue on with him in part 2, but it seems like we have a new enemy called Paris. He's the inventor of many of these technological advancements in the city, creating these automatrons. Yeah, I don't know how to feel about that, because, you know, in number 1, in Thief 1, the Dark Project, Victoria and the Woodsy Lord, you know, together, they seemed like such a formidable duo, you know. And I really thought that Garrett was gonna have to fight against these guys. Well, not necessarily fight, but steal some sort of artifact that is needed to banish them back into hell or something like that, you know. I thought maybe in number 2, Garrett would have to, you know, go out there and look for something to fix his mistake, his mess that he created. So yeah, it's okay, you know. Mandalore Gaming did say that they incorporated many of the assets from number 1 into number 2. The graphics, the sound quality, maybe the NPCs have improved a bit, but they're generally still pretty much the same. The game mechanics also kind of the same, I think, in terms of action or using stealth. And yeah, the dialogue, some of the dialogue from the NPCs and, you know, in the cinematics, it's kind of funny. They have some nice jokes there. But yeah, the game is pretty much a cut and paste from number 1. Just with an added salt in it. So yeah, it's okay. It's okay. Guys, I guess that's it with part 2 of The Thief, The Metal Age. I'm going to watch the 3rd and final installment on Friday, next week Friday. So be sure to be there as well. If you like the video, please give me a like, comment, and subscribe to my channel. Click on the notification bell if you want to be up to date with my latest videos, and I'll see you next time. Okay? Bye-bye.